All right, guys, welcome back to yet another podcast, and we are here on the eve of the El Clasico. We are just 1.5 hours away from kickoff, and I'm here with Blograna Studio, and
Mhm.
I'm just buzzing, man. I just can't wait for this
Yeah,
game.
bro. Yeah, bro. Same thing here, bro. Same thing.
Yeah, I'm just buzzing for this game, and it's all about you know heart and soul. You put into this game essentially.
Mhm.
But let me start from the Barcelona and how do you see Barcelona performing this game, and what do you think Barcelona is going to do? How are they going to come into this game?
Okay. So I think our away performance hasn't been good this season, though. I feel like that won't be too much of a detriment here. Like for example, our home performance have been amazing this season, but you can see in the last Clasico we were outperformed. We were just outperformed,
Yeah,
tactically outclassed, and I think not only do I think Setien has like a better mentality these away games, he approaches them in a better manner than Valverde did, and the fact that just in general training ground, like I said, I think we'll approach this game pretty well. I think we'll have a good performance, and I think we'll go with a positive mentality. Again, Setien likes to go with positive mentality, and especially when you consider how dented Real Madrid's attack is, I think it only makes sense to go with that kind of positive mentality and go for the jugular, in my opinion.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. So since you talk about Setien in as a new manager, he's brought what do you call quality to this side essentially.
I
Because
mean,
with
not necessarily quality, but like I'd say better mentality and better
Okay,
tactics.
so
I'd say.
so he brought that mentality, in this Barcelona side, which they did not really have, and it wasn't really evident with Valverde.
I
But
feel like here's the thing. Let me just clarify. Like I feel like he's brought a better mentality, though. Again, I feel like these players, they themselves have a bad mentality, like still like deeply rooted in them from things like Rome and Liverpool. So that's
Mhm.
just. But I feel like Setien has tried to improve that.
Yeah, but when it comes to Setien, I mean, I'm just trying to compare two managers here essentially.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, what is that? I mean, I'm not I'm gonna just say this when so Setien's first few games included the Ibiza versus Barcelona game, and what there was one of the few games. I think it was in the Copa del Rey, and
Yeah, it
there
was
was
like the first round of Copa
one of
del
the
Rey.
first few games that Serien was managing, and he took over from Valverde like quite recently back
But
then,
it was like
back
I
in the
think 10 days in charge, not even 10 days. Like I think it was like his second game.
yeah, and let's just say that it wasn't really the best
No,
performance
but
that they
I
put out.
mean,
Yeah,
like, I think a lot of the teams in the like you have a new manager first of all, and when you consider like this was like in like the absolute like first days since the sacking, like they were being worked harder, like they were training more, which was not really a thing under Valverde. And when you consider that it's a different style of play, that it's gonna have to be different tactics, different this thing, and when you consider that Ibiza, like the Ibiza, they played like rough football, and
yeah,
the pitch wasn't good. And I mean, of course, it's playing the same pitch, but Ibiza is going to be more used to it, obviously, since it's their home
yeah.
ground. So I mean,
So what I'm
just
trying to
like at that point, I feel like it's not fair to judge the manager just
Mhm.
because it's their second game in charge. I don't think he
Yeah,
was
yeah.
even in for a week at that point.
I'm not really blaming Setien there. I'm not at all, going there at all.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
what
yeah, but
yeah,
everyone
what I am
has
trying
their
to
own opinion.
establish is that when you like look at Setien, I mean, that was his like very first few days in charge of Barcelona, and it was not really the greatest performance Barcelona could have put up. And now it's been quite an amount of time since that Ibiza game passed, and now we are here into March. We are into El Clasico now. Did you actually think? Did you actually think that Setien has actually improved this Barcelona side since then in terms of
That's actually a good
mentality
question.
work?
It's actually a good question. I feel like the okay, good question here, but we'll get to that on the live chat. But good question here. Um, so you're asking me if he has improved the Barcelona squad, right?
Hmm. I mean, what? No,
Okay,
that's
so
not really. No, that's not really what I'm going. I mean, you just told that it's not really the change in quality, but it's the change in mentality. And
yeah,
do you feel that even though like under Valverde, we've seen results don't reflect. And I mean, they don't reflect everything.
no, they don't
Results,
reflect
yeah,
performance at all.
yeah, they don't reflect everything really. And if you look at Setien, I mean, he's been producing somewhat decent results, I would say. And
I mean, I
what I'm
think
saying is
that
that
he's
since he took over, what do you think? I mean, since that Ibiza game which I just mentioned, what do you think we have arrived at? What do you see Setien as? Is he good? Is something changed about this Barcelona side? What do you see? I mean,
Well,
getting
I
into game
think
this.
the squad has definitely congealed a lot better to the way he wants to play, and that's obviously translated to better performances. Since what was it, the Valencia game? We've had pretty good. We've had like I think really good results. I don't think we have lost in that time. I do think we've won almost all of those games, except of course Napoli. But they're better team than the teams we had to face away from home since then. Yeah, I think he's brought a better style of play, better identity, and just like that more like sort of hardworking and maybe a bit more positive mentality that I think Valverde just was either losing or wasn't necessarily having. Like he was,
Yeah, yeah. Especially in his last few days, I mean, you could see that the pressure was just mounting on him, and
yeah.
it was time to leave for him,
But
for a
the
long
Clasico,
time.
like the first one, I remember, like the selection was weird. Why? Well, he benched Busquets, which I mean, I'm kind of
Yeah,
fine with.
that was weird.
But
That was weird. That
but
was
but
very
then
weird.
he played what was it, Rakitic? Yeah, in the holding midfield, and then played De Jong and Sergio Roberto. Like Archer was out, but Sergio Roberto in the center.
I remember like Rakitic getting closed down by Isco and Benzema back in that game, and
Rakitic
he
was
was like,
playing, was doing mannequin challenge that day. He was doing nothing. Doing
yeah,
absolutely
yeah,
nothing.
yeah, that's true though. But I mean, like since we've like diverted a bit from the original question, I mean, now we are into the Clasico now. What's your like how do you see how do you see like Barcelona get into this game? How do you see them performing in this on this night?
I see them. I think I said earlier. I see them performing good. I see them performing well. I think they'll go positive in mentality. Um, they'll go positive in mentality. They'll try and, of course, keep possession as usual. Just progress the ball as usual. Of course, I know Real Madrid don't usually like press with intensity. We sort of do, but then again, even that needs adjusting because, of course, you have
Yeah.
2-3 years of Valverde ball. Um, so
Yeah.
yeah, I think so. We'll try and keep possession. We'll try and progress the ball. We'll try and find outlets to try and progress the ball. Um, I don't think we'll be very bad. I think we'll be concentrated. I think we'll focus on the game. And of course, Real Madrid. I think they'll defend well. I think they'll force turnovers. I think they'll
Yeah.
definitely threaten us. But I think we can be secure. Um, in defense because I don't know for some reason defense likes to turn up in Classicos, especially the last one. Like last one, um, defensively, like to be honest, we were actually not abhorrent like we would usually be. I feel like midfield and attack was just
Yeah, I
passed through
mean, even
easily.
I noticed that in the last Clasico, especially. I mean, let's just say that I'm gonna track back to Real Madrid a bit here. I mean, from this one, but I mean, we've just seen that in this past few months, we've definitely seen Real Madrid defensively just up the levels like by a mile up the levels. I mean, I'm not even being biased when I say that because it's really true. We've conceded the least goals in La Liga this season, which is really weird because Real Madrid,
I
they
think
weren't
the
really
defensive
great at
record was there
defending.
before though. Like I feel like it's nothing new.
I don't know, but the thing is,
Like
see,
the games did lose there were like very small margins.
yeah,
Like it was like,
exactly.
and usually it was like 1-0.
Mhm, mhm.
Very small
The
margins. It was
Mallorca
nothing
game was
important.
1-0, and the Levante game was 1-0 as well. And we've lost two games this season. And so, yeah, coming back to the question. So, defensively, we've upped our levels. But I think when you say that, uh, Barcelona, are not defensively as equipped as they're supposed to be, uh, when I say that, it's something like, we aren't offensively gifted. This team is not offensively gifted for sure, and I think
Yeah, and
that's
a
where
lot of the
Barcelona
options we have
kind of
maybe
got
not
the
there.
pass. That's how Barcelona kind of got the pass, and I think it's like so I think Barcelona kind of got away with it. And when you say that the defense is like a huge question, it's I mean, we are also offensively on the back foot here. We are
Yeah,
not
yeah, that's
really.
why I'm not
Yeah,
necessarily too concerned about their defense. I feel like they perform better in these kinds of games, like Pacific Classicos for some reason. I have no idea why.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so
But yeah,
yeah, yeah,
so
and when you consider the lack of attacking quality that Real Madrid have, I feel like we should be secure defensively. Of course, Madrid they'll force turnovers, they'll create opportunities. I
yeah.
think so. if you have like Federico Valverde, Modric, and the wing backs like rushing out, or whoever you choose start, and then that could definitely threaten us, and especially when you'll have Benzema there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
sure, for sure.
Like,
And
well, obviously we'll get threatened attacking in terms of defense, but it's not like you're the best at converting chances and best at goal
yeah,
scoring.
that
Like, it's not the
that
most
for
clinical or
sure.
attacking team.
Because it also plays down to who has the more clinical or decisive chances, and and we are
Yeah, yeah.
not
Like
really
Madrid,
great
I
at
feel
that.
like they've been good at creating chances, but they've not put them away. And I think
Yeah,
especially
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Benzema, like being the
It's
very
like
unselfish player
it's like
and
even the
passing the ball and everything,
chances.
it's not helping.
It's like even the chances that we've created, it's not really like the most decisive ones you can actually create. I mean, those chances are mostly coming around at the edge of the box, which are not really the ones you can you know finish with ease and stuff, and we haven't like been able to create those easy type of chances, whereas in the last Clasico, if you see, Barcelona had the better chances. Even though they were the underperforming team, you had Barcelona getting the
Yeah, yeah,
better
I agree. Like
chances.
a lot of Madrid chances were coming from like out wide or like long
Yeah,
range,
yeah,
but
yeah,
then a lot of the
exactly.
Madrid, I mean, a lot of the chances we
Barcelona's
created, they were
chances.
like in the box, but Madrid were, I think, more tighter defensively in that game, and we
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
put them
yeah,
away. I think they took advantage of the fact that we played a narrow front three. You'll have like Griezmann going inside,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
because of course he's not naturally a winger. Again, we've heard that before. And then of course you have Suarez, who's just a natural striker, and of course being nearly 33, he's not going to be the most mobile. Then of course
Yeah,
Messi
that's
likes to
that,
cut
that's kind of
inside.
true as well. And yeah, so I just saw this question here on chat, and one was asking, Braithwaite over Fatty, what would be an ideal front three this time? Personally, I don't think they're going to go with like a proper front three, like a 4-3-3. I don't think that'll happen. I mean, I think that's too conventional of an approach with Messi and everything. But what do you think? I mean, I'm not going to
I mean,
answer
it's
for you, but
worked,
what do you
so
think?
there's no necessarily use in cheating. I think that it should be Braithwaite simply because like Ansu Fati's just 17 years old.
But
Physically,
he's
I'm not
played
sure he's
he's
up to the
played
task.
he's played much higher level games as well. He's been starting the Champions League on quite a number of occasions as well. I mean, Ansu
Well, I
Fati
mean,
is not a bad call as
well,
well.
the one he only started. I think what was it? One game? Yeah, one game. Or was it two? It was either one or two games. But the one game he like played full 90 minutes. Was a Inter Milan, and we had no pressure because no matter what happened, we would have finished top of the group.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, I mean that's there as well. But again, you
but
have
like I mean, if we lose here, then there's a lot of pressure on us. We have to claw back in the title race. Like Setien may have said that this may not be the most important game, maybe more important for Real Madrid, which I
yeah,
think
yeah,
it
yeah.
is. But
Like I
that's
was
not
just
understanding the importance for us. I
like I
think
was
so.
just
Braithwaite, he's older, he has more experience. I think he has dedication to do well at the club. I think that's just what wouldn't
Mhm.
Ansu give us the width.
Well, like like when you say that Barcelona, they've got a lot on the line as well. I think personally, Real Madrid have much more on the line here.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
that's what I said.
yeah,
Like Barcelona have
yeah,
a
yeah.
lot on the line, but
But Real Madrid have much
like
more
Real
because
Madrid, they want to like really assert themselves in the title race again. They have to win
yeah,
this, not draw, but
exactly.
win.
It's like February, mid-February. We've been in a slump. We started off with the Celta Vigo draw, then it went on to the Levante loss, and then it went to the Manchester City loss. And now, if I mean, let's just think of a scenario where we pull off a win against Barcelona, and literally, it's like we'll again get that confidence back and stuff, and be 1 point ahead of Barcelona. But
But
if
it's important
Barcelona
for
win,
Barcelona because if we draw, then things more or less just stay the same. It's a bit of a pressure situation. But if
yeah.
we win it like it very clearly asserts us.
But the thing is, what I see in a game like this is that if we manage to survive, I mean, it's if Real Madrid don't draw this, I mean, let's just think of a scenario where Real Madrid is leading 2-0 and they bottle it at some point of time. I mean, literally, they were in a winning spot and they concede 2 goals. That's a different story when you manage to come back in 2 goals at the end. So it's like two different scenarios here, and I think if the latter were to happen, I think Real Madrid will still not regain their confidence back because we've been in a slump and we really need a
I
W.
think they need to win this match if they
Yes.
want to assert themselves in title race. I mean, we do if we really want to keep the if we really want to assert ourselves too. But
I think I think
I think it's
Barcelona
slightly more
probably,
favorable for Real
if they
Madrid,
win
but it's an
this,
important match for us. I'm
I
not
think if
gonna deny that.
Barcelona win this, I think the chances are they've got their hands on the league yet again. I think
Yeah.
plays down to that because I don't see Barcelona bottling it in 12 games remaining in the league. I don't see that happening.
No, I
Uh,
don't see that
yeah.
happening.
And I mean, Barcelona giving away 5 points. That's not really. I don't see that happening essentially. But yeah, when it comes down to that, I think Real Madrid needs this win more than Barcelona because we've been in
Mhm.
a slump, and this win is really, really important to the club. But yeah, again, now I mean, I was just seeing this question on chat again, and
Oh, wait, the lineups are out. Lineups are out. Let me just check. What was it? Twitter. Let me just
yeah,
check.
yeah, I'm also gonna check the Real Madrid lineup once again. Oh, I mean, once.
Okay,
Yeah.
FC Barcelona lineup. Where's the Barcelona? Oh, Marcelo's starting. That's new.
Oh, that's weird.
I
That's
think that is weird.
weird.
That is weird. I
That
think
is
again
so
they're trying to
weird.
play wide.
Oh my god.
So who are we
This
playing?
is weird. Oh my
Tomato,
damn.
Piqué, Sergio, Okay,
I
so
can't believe this. Damn. Oh my god.
this is that's strange. Wait. Okay, gonna have to resort this. So TTPK, Semedo, and then what was it? Oh, Jordi Alba starting. I did not expect him to start. That is not, I
Yeah.
did not expect that. That is weird because he's being rushed back from not rushed back, but he's back from injury. You want to give him a. I suggested coming off the bench.
Yeah. I mean, coming back to this discussion yet
So
again,
that's a
uh,
bit weird from
for
this one.
for what I'm happy is that Cruz is back. He wasn't there in the Manchester City lineup, so this is
That
something
was
new.
odd too.
Yeah, that
Okay,
was
so
very
who are
odd.
we playing? So Busquets, Artur, De Jong. Okay, so it's 4-3-3 only. It's 4-3-3 only. So just the same general midfield of Busquets, Artur, De Jong. Um, and then for the what's this one? It's Vidal, Messi, Griezmann. Okay, we've seen that before though. We've seen that
Yeah,
before.
yeah.
But the
I think I've
main
seen that
surprise,
quite
in my
recently.
opinion, is Jordi Alba's just starting off the bat. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it seems like we're going with Vidal as the third attacker. It seems.
Yeah. I mean, I've just noticed our lineup as well, and we're like pretty much going here with a 4-4-2, which I mean, 4-4-2. Technically, while we attack, it's going to be
Yeah,
a
Messi and Griezmann
4-5-1.
out on the wings, and then I think Vidal starting in a bit of a deep lying forward position. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I just want to get back to the chat here, and like one has said that has Setien, should have he started like Roberto instead of Semedo. What's your thoughts
I
on that?
mean, I feel like Semedo has done well in recent games. I feel like he's worked on his
And
attacking contribution a bit more.
Sergio Roberto, by the way, does really well against Real Madrid. So that's kind of weird as well. I mean,
I don't know, bro. In the last one, I mean, I get it was a midfield, but in the last one, the guy seemed dead. De Jong was their only midfielder in the last one for sure. Um, but I mean, Semedo's been performing well in the recent games. He's worked on his attacking contribution, in my opinion. I think he's congealing well with this team, and he's solid. And I think he's relatively solid defensively if he like tracks back quickly enough. Then yeah, definitely. I
yeah,
mean, both of them, I feel like it wouldn't make too much of a difference for the right backs. But I mean, yeah, I'm fine with the Semedo starting. He's been getting a bit more favor in the recent games, so I'm not too surprised. Well,
yeah.
we'll see.
And talking about Real Madrid's lineup, man, Marcelo, man, oh my God, why did he
The
start?
defense, if we get
This is
opportunities, the
this is
defense shall be
weird. See,
open. Thank you.
oh my God, I'll tell you something, man. I
And
mean,
we
it's
all know
like,
Ramos will be sent off, so that's even better.
oh my God, dude, I'm gonna
The
tell you
only one,
something.
and then Varane will go to nothing, and then zero defenders.
Oh my God, this is not the best
Let's.
feeling I can have. But
I'm not
I'm
gonna
just
say
gonna.
it, but I'm preparing for feasting.
Oh my
I'm not
God,
gonna
man.
make a prediction, but I'm preparing for a feast.
dude. But I'm gonna put my point out here when you say feasting and everything. But um, I'll tell. The thing is, Messi always says this, man. I've heard him say in a lot of interviews. He says that playing Real Madrid in the Bernabeu is easier than playing at the Camp Nou, and I can
I
see
mean, I
why.
think that too. I think that too.
Yeah,
Real Madrid
because
in the mud, trophy of the
because
season. Let's
I,
hope so, bro. Let's hope so.
yeah, because I'll tell you something. Because Real Madrid, when you play at home, it's like a natural obligation. You're meant to attack. You can't just sit back at home. That's not really go. It's not gonna go well with your fans and with with
Yeah,
the
I
fan
feel
base
like
like
he just
Real Madrid.
wants psychological pressure. Why,
Yes,
where we perform
yes,
best in
exactly,
situation.
exactly,
But
and
like you said before, like Real Madrid or Barcelona, it's like highest pressure situations because they're the biggest clubs in the world. And then in Clásicos, which is the biggest match in the world, then at home, like it really, I think, gets to the players.
yeah,
So I think
yeah,
that's
yeah.
why it's like switching more.
Yeah, but when I say that, I mean it's like at the Bernabeu, you are like meant to attack a bit, and that's what's will cause the zonal openings or whatever
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
when for Barcelona, and that's why you have like a lot of
I
goals
think
that
we'll probably try and. I think the reason Jordi Alba's maybe being rushed back is so that we get a better connection with Messi and can play more wide. Because we all know, because I think why he started Marcelo was to go more attacking. So let's say we get the ball, let's say we get it to Alba, let's say he dribbles up a bit, let's say he passes to some of the surrounding players. I think that makes it easier to progress against an open Real Madrid. I think that's why Jordi Alba is starting right off the bat.
Yeah, I mean it's yeah, I mean when you come to Saudi Arabia, yes, but when Messi says that playing at the Bernabeu is easier, why start with someone shaky like Marcelo? I still can't understand why he did that,
I don't
and
know, bro. I don't know. I don't know. But
yeah,
this
I
is
mean it's
why
so
I
weird.
think this is why Zidane hasn't been put on the level of a Guardiola or a Klopp. I mean, like not this specific situation, but some decisions have been shaky, especially in the league. I mean, and
Yeah,
then in Champions League.
and also like Marcelo, man, he hasn't been clicking at all this season, and again when it comes down to Marcelo starting, I'm really skeptical of what's gonna be what's gonna happen and everything, and I'm not really optimistic if I were to be honest, and also I mean talking about the lineup, we're going here with a 4-4-2 here while we press, and when we progress the ball forward, it's going to be a 4-5-1 with Vinicius on the left, and I can see why, because in the last Clasico we had Bale alongside Benzema, and
Yeah,
when you have someone like Bale, I mean this is not the prime Bale I'm talking about, the 2014 one, but when I'm talking about the current Bale, the washed up, the somewhat washed up Bale. When I'm talking about that kind of guy, he's not gonna really be a ball progressor. He's gonna probably be there in the center, waiting for a ball, trying to score and stuff. And that's not really bad when you have a goal scorer that helps in its own way as well. But
I don't know. I think he, like you said, he's washed, and he hasn't been really, I think, performing up to the standard at the Bernab
yeah,
at for Real Madrid, and I
but
especially don't think the fan base likes him. So I don't
see,
think he'll perform well.
I
I
mean, the fan
understand.
base doesn't like him. I mean, put that aside, man. We've had Gareth Bale play like a stone against Manchester City, and all we could do is just watch that in silence. But when it comes to the last Clasico, I felt Bale did a good job. Not the best, but he did a good job, though. For the form that he's been in. Yeah, it's like it's been so weird looking at him like that, but again, he's not really the best ball progressor, and I can see why Vinicius was started, because he takes the ball forward much better, and there's a chance that he creates better chances than Garbel, who's not even going to go even on out wide on the pitch. And
Hmm.
the thing is, the only thing I'm really worried about Vinicius is that he lacks decisiveness in the final third. That's
Yeah,
what the
yeah, I
problem is.
definitely agree. Yeah,
Yeah, his finishing is like really bad. It's like Sunday league level, man. And it's not the greatest finishing that he has. Probably someone like Rodrigo would have benefited, but Rodrigo did
yeah,
something
yeah,
stupid, and he I mean he got a card in the Castilla game
yeah,
recently.
yeah,
But
yeah.
Yeah, he got so. I mean, the last time we played a 4-3-3 system with Rodrigo and and again on the right, like a 4-3-3 system with Benzema in the middle, and we did the 6-0 against Galatasaray, and like Galatasaray was bad. It wasn't really good as well. But I mean, that's what Rodrigo brought to the table, man. He was much clinical for his age, and he was much better than Vinicius Junior. I would say, but. When it comes to creation of chances, I think Vinicius is definitely up there. He's doing bits.
Yeah.
I just want him to just put the ball in the back of the net, and that's I'm really skeptical about that if you'd ask me. But what's your thoughts on this Barcelona lineup? How do you see them go about this?
All right. So the lineup, defense. I don't think again, only surprise is Alba starting. I think again that's to help with the wide progression of the ball, and
Hmm.
take advantage of course, you're starting Marcelo and Carvajal, so to take advantage of the maybe space out wide. I feel like that's the reason he's starting. That's the only shock there. Umtiti has gained more favor with Setien. Piqué, of course, is Piqué. I don't think he'll ever be dropped. Um,
Yeah.
and then Semedo, I mean, he's gained more favor with Setien as well. For the midfield, I mean, again, not too many surprises. Busquets, again, he has that relationship with the players, that chemistry with players. And then again, Artur, solid midfielder, good ball progressor, good playmaker. And then, of course, Frankie de Jong, I feel like he hasn't necessarily settled in necessarily. I feel like it's not just, I feel like it's not him necessarily being bad, but there are other factors. I don't think he's a bad player. I think he deserves more time. But
Hmm.
I don't necessarily see Frankie de Jong being the most influential player, though we'll see. But then again, no surprises there. Um, I would have my preferred would have been to start Vidal in the center midfield and then put De Jong in the holding midfield and then put Artur in the central midfield. But then again, you
Hmm.
disrupt that whole chemistry when you have Busquets, and this is a very important match, so there's no point in experimenting like that. Then for the front line, I was a bit surprised we started Vidal, though I feel like again that's to help in the midfield to progress the ball, because again you want those midfield sort of runners and and of course those more energetic forwards, and like Vidal brings that, and he's an experienced player, and so I think that's why he's starting. Then Messi, again, same thing with Piqué. Will he ever be dropped?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Even though he was like limping in like one of the videos in the trips to Madrid. So I mean, even though
Yeah,
he's like
yeah.
probably injured,
I just want to like ask about that. I mean, what's up with that? Is that like a thing or something? I mean, did he actually like suffer an injury or a minor, like at
he
least a
was
minor
I think
one?
like he said like with that whole Messi Abadal thing. He said in the Messi Abadal thing, like in the interview after that or something, that he was like playing with the, I think, what was it, like groin pain, like thigh pain. So I feel like I think he's been playing through an injury only. Maybe, well, maybe not necessarily an injury, but he's definitely been playing through discomfort.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I mean
So
that's
I mean,
kind of
yeah, like
weird.
literally, he can't be dropped when you consider attacking options. Like quite literally, it's not even an option.
Yeah, what I'd see is that like when I see like both of the lineups, what I mean, I'll get to you when what you think about what how Barcelona will go about with this lineup. But with this lineup, I really feel that when it comes to Real Madrid, they have to they have to go ham like immediately. They have to start pressing immediately. They have to do what they do best. But the thing is, the only thing I'm concerned is with putting the ball in the back of the net. If we do that early on, then it can really be something. It can really be something. And I mean, that's what we lacked against Manchester City as well. We like pressed, like, I wouldn't say the best, but it was quite decent, to be honest. We were closing down on on Otamendi, and we were forcing Ederson into 3v2 situations. So yeah, I think pressing wise we did quite well, and that's what we should do now.
I agree. Against Barcelona,
Yeah,
that would definitely trouble the build up play.
yeah. The only thing that Real Madrid should do is that putting the ball in the back of the net, man. That, like, get a 1-0 or
But
at the
can
most
they?
a
Yeah.
2-0 lead. Yeah, but if we don't, it's going to escalate into something really difficult for Real Madrid, which they can't handle. Because back in the day, we had Cristiano Ronaldo, and we also, I mean, let's talk about the 16-17 season, where I feel that it was probably Real Madrid's best back in a few years now.
Yeah,
And
definitely, definitely.
yeah, the 16-17 one, we were like literally everywhere, and we did everything possible in order to be called the deserved ones or whatever. But I think back in that time, our squad depth was unbelievable, man. Everyone was performing. And also, like, Cristiano Ronaldo as well. We had Cristiano Ronaldo, who is like very decisive with the goals. And sometimes we used to like sub off Benzema, and we used to have like Morata on the pitch, and he would like sneak in some goals at the end of the. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the game, I remember this game that Real Madrid was playing against Sporting Lisbon. We were 1-0 down at the Bernabeu, and guess what? Morata scores, and it's and Cristiano Ronaldo scores with a free kick. So I mean, that's how it was. But I don't think now we are in a very convenient position.
No, I think the main
To
the only like real goal scorer you guys have is Benzema, and even then that could be arguable because the guy isn't necessarily like a pure goal scorer. He likes to play a bit deeper and likes to create a
yeah,
bit.
that's what
So
he's not like a
you
he's not
don't
like a number
necessarily have like
nine.
necessarily like complete like
on
absolute great
paper
finishers.
on paper he might seem like a number right, but naturally, he loves to drop deep. He likes to take the
Yeah, I
pressure
feel
off
like
his
that's part of
teammates.
why he's gotten a lot of stick over like the past few years. Like
Hmm.
people just take a role he plays at like the face value and say, "Oh, he's striker, he's goal scorer." But in reality, Cristiano Ronaldo's been playing more of that role.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's what the whole, I think when so 13 14 was 14 15 was probably when Ronaldo started to play a bit centrally. I mean, his role out wide became a lot
Mhm.
less. And he on out, and now he became like a central guy. And from 14 15 to his last season, which was in 17 18, all was, being like that forward who had to, it was just like a goal machine essentially. He didn't have to like drop defenders, he didn't have to track back. They just wanted him up front, and they just wanted him to
Yeah, you had that
score goals
physical
essentially.
presence. You have that good off the ball movement positioning, and yeah, just to
Yeah,
score.
I mean, Cristiano Ronaldo is like out of this world in that aspect, if you ask me.
I
But
mean, I do call him
you,
a tap in merchant, but to be fair, he did his job well, and he helped Real Madrid, so that's what
yeah,
matters.
I'm not gonna go to the banter, but again, it's like Cristiano Ronaldo is again what he brought a lot of goals to the table, man. I mean, it's facts.
Yeah, he has not
And
been properly replaced. I was very, very confused
yeah.
when Hazard was brought in as a replacement.
See,
Very
Hazard was
confused.
never meant to be a Cristiano Ronaldo replacement. If fans thought that Hazard was supposed to be one,
Well,
then
who
that,
was he supposed to replace? Then it was an unnecessary signing.
yeah, I mean, it was not. If you'd ask my opinion, it was not the best signing. What I would say is that Hazard definitely brings quality into actually, creating chances, and probably would lack more
But I
decisiveness
mean, do you
in the
really need
final
that
third.
chance creation? Like you have Fede Valverde who can bring the ball up. You have Cruz who's a great playmaker. I mean, and you could be able to spray the ball wide. Ferland Mendy has been pretty good. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, do you and you said that the Vinicius says and Rodrigo are like good at the chance creation. So do you really need the added creativity? Would be my question.
See, that's the
And you have
thing.
Benzema, and you have Benzema who can also create and link up play and all that kind of stuff.
We had enough people who could create. I mean, it would be down to the season if we could see like probably if they would be in form or not. That's a different issue altogether. But I think for one thing, we have to like get this into our mind that Cristiano Ronaldo can't be replaced, man. He is something else. The goal was never to replace Ronaldo. The goal was to just
Well,
get a
you can't
proper.
just let that hole like stay there. Like that's not an option.
He is
Like
a different player altogether. I wouldn't say the goal was to replace him, but the goal was to get a proper striker, like probably Timo Werner, or we got Luka Jovic, but Luka Jovic didn't click. That's the problem. The thing is,
I feel like
uh,
I also feel like not only is he playing with added pressure at a young age, but at the same time, like he has not been given that many opportunities to actually congeal. Like when you're a striker, you need to have that understanding with the midfielders and the wingers and all the other players. So yeah, I feel like he deserves a bit more time. Like like Modric was like flopping like his first 2 years, and then we all know what happened. I
yeah,
feel
yeah,
like
yeah.
it'll be almost
Like,
similar situation.
like
And
in
I think even
those.
Frankie De Jong, it might be a similar situation with him.
Why? Why do you think that?
He hasn't necessarily been performing up to par. He hasn't. Okay, well, he hasn't necessarily been playing in his preferred position, but
Mm-hmm.
he's playing with the added pressure. Like he's been compared to like Johan Cruyff, Xavi, Iniesta, and those are just guys like you said, that you cannot replace. You cannot replace. Those are guys you cannot replace. and he had a great performance with Ajax, and now he's expected to continue that. And of course, the added pressure because when you're performing for your dream club, biggest club in the world, one of the biggest clubs in the world, it's going to be added pressure. So I feel like he hasn't been a bad player, but he hasn't necessarily reached the heights expected of him. Though I'll give him time.
Yeah, he
I think
hasn't
Jovic deserves
definitely
time. I think
been
De Jong
the
deserves time.
he hasn't definitely
Yeah.
been that Ajax player. He hasn't definitely been that Ajax player. So, yeah, that's for sure. But yeah, I just like to address this question I've seen on chat. So, so should Barca go all out for Lautaro Martinez or Timo Werner next season, and why?
Okay. So I was a bit confused about Griezmann signing because again, he is not a pure number nine. He again likes to play deeper. Again, likes to create more. I feel like in more of a complete forward role, maybe a deep lying forward role, Griezmann could potentially do well in that. So and especially when you consider that Griezmann's adapting to an entirely new system, like he Atleti, very different system, defensive, track back, that kind of thing. And Barcelona, it's not that same kind of thing, obviously. Um, so I mean, yeah, I feel like he deserves again more time. I'm not going to be right off the bat wanting Griezmann out. So I don't think we should go all in necessarily yet,
Yeah, I
but
mean,
we'll see.
when Suarez got injured, I thought that it was like I think Barcelona were trying to look too deep into the future. I get that they're trying to. I mean, I get that if Barcelona is trying to sign like a
We were looking.
striker for
I
the
don't think we were
future
looking
or
too deep in
whatever.
the future.
But
Sorry to
like
interrupt, but
this
I
thing,
don't think
that
we were
whole
looking too
thing that
deep in the future
erupted.
with Griezmann.
You come again?
I don't think we were looking too deep in the future with Griezmann, to be honest, because I mean the guy's 28, so
No. I'm just saying. I mean, if Barcelona is, see, I think what Suarez is like injured for what, like 4 month period, I guess, 4 month, 3 month,
yeah,
4 month.
yeah. 4 months, 4 months.
Yeah, 4 month period.
So there's
So,
like a bunch of videos of him like recovering quicker than usual, but yeah, he's not
mhm.
gonna be back for some time.
But yeah, I think in January a lot of like news articles erupted talking about Suarez's replacement. I thought
A
that
lot, yeah.
Barcelona probably, if that all of that was real, essentially, if all of that was if all of that was like too much that Barcelona was doing, was that like actually necessary? Because I don't think that
I
for a
know,
four
like
month.
I was like, is this something we need more? Like I was more concerned about defense, to be honest,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
all our defenders have been abhorrent, abhorrent.
Yeah, for sure.
So
I think when it comes to the offensive
and then we loaned two
aspect, I
people to
think,
Schalke. What an amazing decision.
yeah, but yeah, we have to like step up offensively, to be honest. And Barcelona probably have to look for someone defensively, for sure. And yeah, I mean, I was just like thinking how Real Madrid might probably head into this game. Like I said, I mean, like I said, I'm just repeating myself here when I say that we're going to start pressing probably. But yeah, what do you think Barcelona's approach will be? How will they break down Real Madrid? What do you think they'll do?
Okay, so like I think they'll try and play a bit wider again. You had Alba starting, and that's not by accident, in my opinion. I think we're gonna try and progress a bit more wide. I think Vidal is gonna try and drop in more. I think we're gonna have a lot more positional fluidity and trying to just go where the ball is and then spreading out more. Just try and confuse Real Madrid when they're trying to, of course, press and trying to block us. And of course, we're gonna play short passing, try and break down slowly, slowly, slowly. And again, with that positional play element, I think that's how we'll just break down. Just generally how we'll usually play. I feel like Sethien's just more philosophy manager. So I think we'll just use the wide areas more is the
Mm-hmm.
main thing, um, because you'll have a lot more exposure with Marcelo and Carvajal just coming out, and
Yeah,
the
that's
Carvajal has been
yeah.
amazing, and Marcelo is just bad defensively.
Yeah,
Bad defensively.
defensively is not there. I'm admit that. But I was just looking at this question, another one on chat. Since you say that we're gonna approach out wide because we have Jordi Alba now. Like the when you go ham like that. I mean, that's supposed to be something of your strength. So what I'm gonna say is that, I mean, looking at this question here, do you think that Carlos Perez's sale made sense? Do you think that actually? is something that made sense, in the market,
Mm,
because Carlos Perez was supposed to be the one for the future kind of guy, and suddenly his sale genuinely like surprised
yeah, I
me.
see the question. I see the question. Yeah,
Yeah,
Tadipo goes bad idea. Yeah, yeah. Carlos Perez. At first, I thought like before the transfer window, you think it wouldn't be that bad since again you have Griezmann, you have Suarez, you have Messi. Like, did you really need too many of backup necessarily? And you have Ansu Fati, of course. So did you really need to have all these backups? Will Carlos Perez really get game time? But then Suarez injured, Dembele injured, and
yeah,
now it's like yeah, we need more depth. You have only Griezmann, Messi, so you can play like Sabantu Fati, and you can have Carlos Perez, and yet for some reason we loaned him out to Roma, and I think Roma activated a buying option. I think that was or it was guaranteed. So yeah, it didn't make too much sense, especially when
yeah.
considered that it was made after the injuries. Like it was not made before; it was made after. After Setien came in, after the injuries, it made no sense. Made no sense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, considering all of that, I mean, I think it's safe to say that Setien has been doing far more decent than what people actually think. I'm assuming.
Yeah, yeah,
But,
definitely.
yeah, but obviously, yeah, when I say that it's Barcelona is who's here, holding the pants, and they are the, I think Real Madrid here is definitely the underdogs here for sure. Um, it's like, what do you think? Barcelona. I mean, what's your prediction for this game?
I'm sticking with 1-0. Again, we don't have that much of the attack. Vidal, he can bring something, but he's not an out finisher, and I don't know. It just seems like a bit unpolished with him. I don't know if he's necessarily gelled well with the rest of the team. Griezmann, I actually think is a bit interesting because the way going against Napoli, I'm like I've heard things about, and I've been thinking about this myself. Could it be like a bit of a turning point? It's, of course, you have pressure at this club. Of course, you have to gel in with senior players at this club. So could it be a bit of
Hmm.
a turning point because that away goal? It massively helped us. It's going to massively help us probably go through. So
Yeah,
could that be a turning point? And of course, this is going to be a match where it might be his time to shine. So could that also be a turning point?
yeah.
Um,
I mean, you
but
you
then
you
again,
said
we're
that.
still lighting the attack. We don't necessarily have a natural finisher up front. Like even though we have Messi, who's of course amazing goal scorer, like again, he has to drop deep. He has to create. Unlike this Cristiano who complained about the midfielders, he'll drop deep, create, and link up and all that kind of thing. So yeah, we're a bit light in the attack. I feel like defensively, with lack of Real Madrid's attacking threat, and
Mm.
just this team likes to turn up. As the defensively likes to turn up.
Honestly, if Real Madrid managed to score 2 goals, I'll be beyond surprised. That's what I'm at
Yeah,
right
yeah,
now.
definitely, definitely.
Yeah, I'll be beyond surprised if Real Madrid manages to score like 2 goals in this game. So I am. So yeah, you go with a 1-0 prediction. And since you say that your attack is not really, it's on paper it might look like really good, but maybe it's a bit of an overstatement when it comes to the actual play. So like, you have your attacking options out. You obviously have Suarez out. You have Dembele out. So I've seen the question on the chat. So should you sell Dembele, or should he be given more time?
Get rid of him. Get rid. We've given this
Why?
guy. All right, by the end of this guy's injured till August. We have given him 3 years. 3 years. Three
Mm-hmm.
years to change his fitness, his diet, or whatever it is causing him these injuries. Whatever it is, we have given him 3 years. 3 years of nothing. Absolutely nothing. Even what's his name? Gareth Bale has done more. He's done more. He scored important goals for Real Madrid. What has Dembele done? Miss important chances, like against Liverpool.
You can. I
I'm
mean,
done. I'm done. Honestly.
there are like times where, he has shown flashes of brilliance as well. It's not like he hasn't like done anything. He has shown.
Yeah, is he really at that big an effect? Like, let's be real. Like, last season was mostly Coutinho starting, which again he was invisible whole season, but still, whenever Dembele played, it's not like he had the best contribution. And then this season, when he has played, he hasn't necessarily. He's had flashes of brilliance. I agree, but has he like really done? Has he really like lifted this team? Has he really improved this team? And then 17-18 again, you have injury issues as well. Um,
He like. he is like a very huge asset on wide on the pitch. So then what happens, for Barcelona essentially? Who do you think will replace him then? I mean, who do you think will
Um,
replace Dembele?
I don't know what it is. Here's the thing: a lot of these left wingers, bro, they're like young, and if they're not, they're like injury prone. So we're gonna have to take a bit of a risk if we're when we're replacing Dembele. That's not an option. I don't think we should go for Neymar. He's gonna be too expensive. He's gonna get old soon, and you know how these Brazilian players
Yeah,
are.
he's
They'll get
already
bored in the
28,
second game.
and I mean, yeah, but
So I
and I
feel like
actually doubt he's of that same quality still now. Till now, I don't think he's like really up there right now. I mean, if he, at PSG, he's like had so many injury days. He's missed out on a lot of match days as well.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I mean, when
he,
he's on the pitch, of course, he's very good. He's very good. But still, I think I'd go. This might be a bit of an expensive option, but I'll go for Leroy Sané. He'll probably be less expensive now with the ban
hmm
in place. Um,
yeah, with the ban
he
in
has
place,
been a
there
bit
might
injury
actually
prone.
be a
I will
chance. Yes.
confess that, though. Again, um, he has been a bit injury prone, though. Again, I don't. It's not been to the level of Dembele, and a lot of times Guardiola has just not started him. So I feel like maybe he wants more game time, and he'll be a young player. And of course, I think the again pressure element might come in. But the main issue with Dembele is that he's been injured and hasn't had an effect, and we've given him 3 years. I feel like that's enough time. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm willing to give Son a solid, a proper year or two. So I think he's the best replacement. But yeah, they have a lot of questions about Barcelona right here.
Yeah, but it's not like you can't really sell Barcelona right away. I don't think that can really happen,
You
if
mean
you'll ask me,
Dembele? Like,
because I see at the end of the day, Barcelona now, but Dembele is in a situation where you can't really make a profit of him. That's not really gonna happen.
I
Uh,
mean,
you,
yeah, like
yeah, you can't really
that's
make
the
a
issue.
profit
That
of
this
him.
board, like the way they look for players, they just go for big names, without actually finding what is right for the club, and so they end up playing horribly, and then we had to end up wheeling them out for nothing, for pennies. But you
And
may as
also
well
that
sell them
that
now because I
also
honestly don't see the situation getting better.
and that also probably explains, Barcelona's bad defense. They haven't been looking at potential like proper signings. They could get to strengthen their defense. And how can like Barcelona essentially strengthen their defense, because that's their weak point, that's their liability going into this game.
Yeah, definitely. The whole
And if
thing
you
in the January and all that was about striker. Griezmann is bad, striker. But I was thinking about the defense because we
yeah
had been abhorrent in the back. Um,
and going into this
as
game I mean, going into the Clasico, you will have, I mean, people can troll Vinicius all day, for his lack of decisiveness in the final
yep,
third, not being able to put the ball in the back of the net. But as long as you can troll him, you can also credit him for the amazing ball progressor he is. And he's really good at that. I mean, we'll keep the goal scoring part aside, he's really good at progressing the ball
but then
forward.
again, Real Madrid
So
doesn't have a finisher to convert that ball progression. That's
exactly, so that's our
so more blame will
liability.
get put on Vinicius for not finishing himself.
Yes, and yeah, so that's a liability in itself. So that's our liability, that we don't, we are not really equipped enough to put the ball in the back of the net. But ball progression wise, I feel that he's really good. But since you say that Barcelona are not good when it comes to the defense part, how do you hold off players like Vinicius? So, see, Rodrigo isn't playing today. I mean, that's a different issue. But if probably Rodrigo was here, we could have seen a potential 4-3-3 with Benzema in the center.
Yeah,
So
I feel like Rodrigo would have caused more problems.
yeah, so when you have like someone like Vinicius and Rodrigo, Barcelona are definitely on the back foot now. They have to, they can't
But then
uh
again, all you have is what's it? Benzema, Vinicius, and then who else is starting for Real Madrid?
So it's a 4-5-1, and on the attacking front, and we'll be pressing in a 4-4-2. It's basically Vinicius and Benzema. Obviously, Vinicius will operate up from the left, and you'll have probably
Oh,
I
okay.
what
East goes on the left side.
Isco is there. So Isco will probably operate behind the striker and will have a bit more freedom.
Well, I
I
mean,
feel that when it
Isco's not necessarily a goal scorer. Benzema also likes to drop in and create, and Vinicius again, like you said, lack of decisiveness.
Hmm,
So you don't have proper goal scoring threats in the
yes.
front three. You have great ball progressors. You have great creative players. You have wait, is Modric starting? No. You have Cruz. You have Valverde. You have Vinicius. You have Benzema. You have Isco. You have five creative players, but zero players who are able to actually get those chances into the
Yeah.
net. And um, I feel like this defense it turns up. There's some motivation, something that they like turn up in these kinds of matches. PK especially, like this guy has been trashed this season, but in the Classicos he just likes to turn up. He seems to like turn up at Classicos. So I feel like maybe psychological factor will deal well today, though I won't. I just think that, and I think that the lack of Real Madrid having a goal scoring threat
Yeah.
um
And
will
also,
definitely help.
I'd like to address this question as
And
well.
of
I
course, Ter
mean,
Stegen. You don't discount him. Don't discount him.
yeah, but
What do you
I'm
know?
gonna address a question here that I've seen in the chat. So someone asks me that Jovic needs to play and he's a goal scorer and that's the only thing Real Madrid needs. I'm gonna address this right away. Jovic, if he was the guy who he was at Eintracht Frankfurt, then probably yes, for sure. And that's what he was brought in for. He was brought in for that proper number 9 role, to be up front, to be always on the attacking front and score goals. But that he's not really popped off, and he's like what, at 2 goals this season. But again, I'm gonna address both
I feel like we
aspects here.
discussed this. We discussed this earlier, right? Like like he's not gonna.
Yeah, yeah,
He's probably not gonna fit in immediately. Like there are a bunch of other factors.
yeah. I mean, I'm gonna like address this question. I mean, someone asked me that why Jovic, is
Yeah,
not playing, and probably why he should play. Essentially, what I say to that is that he hasn't been, he's not been popping off as expected. But again, man, I think. I think it's a bit too hard on Jovic as well. I mean, if you look at the other side of the whole story, because if you actually look at it, it's like, let me get this straight. So Jovic hardly gets minutes, man, to play. He drops off, 10 minutes at the end, and he's expected to make an impact. Actually, in the 16-17 season, Morata would be deployed in a similar role, and he would actually make some significant impact. Whereas when it comes to Luka Jovic, it's not really been his season, and this is his first season as well. I'm not gonna say that we should sell him. That's way too drastic of a call to make. But Luka Jovic not being there is definitely surprising. But I don't know, man. He's been he's not really popped off. But again, he's been given less minutes as well. So there are like two sides to the whole story. So I'm just gonna address another question here. This is for you. So who replaces Dembele, and would bringing Coutinho back be a good idea?
I'd just like to preface this by saying I have a very large agenda against Coutinho. I'll just like to preface my
Hmm.
answer with this.
Okay.
I think I said Leroy Sané for I think his price will drop because again he's not being played too often by Guardiola. I mean he does get injured, but a lot of wingers in general nowadays do, and I feel like he can handle the pressure. He's played in some good games for Man City. Some big games for Man City. He's come up clutch a few times. Um, and of course, I think he wants more game time. I think he wants to go to a big club, more game time, and want to play European football. And he'll get that at Barcelona, in my opinion, because who do we have on the left wing? Ansu Fati, that's it, and Griezmann, but he's not a natural,
He's
left
not a
winger.
natural winger for sure.
So
I feel I
that would
actually
be
feel
my
that
replacement. But
I actually feel that Griezmann, probably would, operate, as a second striker really well. I feel that, but
yeah, I feel like he should play like a deep lying forward kind of role.
yeah. I think that would be really sick for him as a player, and yeah.
So that would
So
be my replacement. Just so Leroy Sané, realistically speaking, and would bring Coutinho back. I don't rate necessarily Coutinho that much. What did he do at Barcelona? Nothing, absolutely nothing.
yeah,
He is not a left winger. He has no role in this team. All he did was cut inside, cut inside, cut inside, cut inside, cut inside, and provide zero width. Even Griezmann's able to stay out wide for longer periods of time. And then this Coutinho, he just stays inside, interferes in the space Messi plays in, and then it ghosts.
but
So I don't think,
do
even
you
with
think
Setien,
the
I feel like it'll make no difference because he has no role in the team.
But do
He's
you
no
think the
role
very
in the team.
presence of Valverde, Ernesto Valverde, was the the whole kind of confusion, because Coutinho was never meant to be a winger, and it's natural for
What
him
was
to
he
cut.
meant to be is the better question. Like, he's not a number 8. He's not a winger. He's an attacking midfielder who I
Hmm.
don't necessarily rate that highly, because what did he do at Liverpool? Do step over every 3 games, dribble a bit. That's it. That's it. That's it. He just dribbled a bit, did step over 3 games, and then media praised him a bunch, and then we bought him for a huge price. Um, yeah. That's just
But again, you can't ignore the creativity that Coutinho could have brought. I mean, you're having a
You
lot of
have
that.
Messi, you have De Jong,
Yeah,
you have Artur, you have Busquets, you have Griezmann. The 5 creative players right there. And then if you count Jordi Alba, six, six
yeah.
creative players. So I don't see why we need a seventh. I feel like 6 is enough. 5 creative players for Real Madrid is enough. So I feel like 6 is enough for us.
Yeah, probably you need to focus on fixing your defense, as thinking that. But yeah, I like, before I close the stream, I'd like to go back to the predictions once again, and I actually think that we might draw. And I for
Fair, fair.
for the reason
Oh yeah,
being
yeah, Ter
that,
Stegen. Shout out to Ter Stegen with 2 assists, more than Eden Hazard. Just his stat.
fuck's sake, man.
He has
Though
more.
oh my god, you're literally like putting a heart in my soul. Because I don't know, man, I'm not gonna speak
It's
because
just
Hazard hasn't
statistics.
popped off
Statistics.
exactly like he was supposed to. Damn it. But yeah, I mean, Ter Stegen, last time actually Ter Stegen was very good, what I felt in the last Clasico, because there were times where Real Madrid's press caused Suarez to have a bit more space for him to operate, and you could see a lot of long balls going from Ter Stegen to Suarez. I mean, you can just say that Suarez,
Yeah, yeah.
Ter
There were a
Stegen,
lot of long
yeah,
balls going. A
you know,
lot of
Ter,
long kicks, long kicks, throws too,
yeah, Ter
and
Stegen
yeah, yeah.
was really, he's really a special one for sure. And yeah,
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
provides me a bit of extra security in terms of that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, I'm looking at another question again. It's for you. So, Leroy Sané, do we need another left-footed attacker though? Do you need another one? I mean, I think we already discussed this in the sense that he was actually meant to be a replacement for Dembele if Dembele was to leave, and which I think will
Well, I
happen.
mean, this is a good question. Actually, this is a good question. Well, I mean, who else could we really buy in replacement? I mean, Sancho's been discussed. Though I don't know. Something tells me the guy's young. The guy is only what 20. He's gonna be 20 in this month, I think. He's
Hmm.
gonna probably not do well with the pressure, and I don't know. We bought another 20-year-old right-footed left inside forward from Borussia Dortmund. His name was Usman Dembele. Didn't quite work
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
So I'm
it
not
did not for
exactly
sure.
quite up for that. Um, and I mean, here's the thing: even if you have let's say one of the wingbacks dropping in, let's say you have the left wingback dropping in, and so Leroy Sané can just play as a left-footed, just pure winger, not inside forward, just pure left winger. So that also gives you defensive solidity. Like we tried that in the beginning, of Setien's sort of tenure. Had 3 at the back with one of the wingbacks dropping in. But because we had Ansu Fati a lot out of the right, and of course he's not going to be that polished player, that exceptionally
Hmm.
skillful player that Leroy Sané is probably going to be more of. I mean, I feel like just small adjustment in tactics could make it work. We don't
Yeah, yeah,
necessarily
yeah.
need to stick rigidly to what we have.
So yeah, I mean, going back to the predictions once again, I predict a 1-1 draw. The reason being that I think that probably Real Madrid might be able to put the one back in the back of the net, and with
I don't know.
Marcel,
I don't know.
I think they might, I think it just plays down to the Manchester City games where we just exploit a mistake, because they were quite shaky on the defensive third,
Well, I
and
mean, Barcelona can do that too. Like a lot of
yeah,
times,
yeah,
we press
so that's what.
opposition, and then usually from turnover, when
Yeah, that's what.
we like
And
to
I
create
think,
a bunch of opportunities. So I mean, yeah.
yeah, it's not going to. I don't think it's going to be like a proper chance where we play really well and put the ball in the back of the net. I don't think that's gonna really. I don't see that playing out. And why Barcelona could score is, I think the answer is quite clear. It's Marcelo on the left, and we've not been great with him. I mean that clearly
I
explains
think I
why
read this
Mendy.
stat on the Twitter saying that like they had you guys had a lower win rate than compared to if you don't play him. So
Yeah, yeah,
it
yeah,
was
yeah,
like
exactly. I mean,
16%.
I think
So
so. This season, Mendy has had 20 starts, and Marcelo has 17 starts. So, I mean, for someone experienced like Marcelo, that's not really a good look, is it? And it's not really
well, I mean, this was
something
the
good to
same one
happen to
who
that of.
pulled 7-1. So never forget.
Yeah, but yeah. So I stick with the 1-1 at the end of the day, and you said you stick with a 1-0.
Yeah, I think so. 1-0. Attacking threat from both teams a bit lower. Maybe a turning point for Griezmann, but Real Madrid's defense has been solid. You cannot discount that. Real Madrid
Mm,
will also create opportunities very well. The Vede Valverde, all that, they'll rush out very well. They'll have a lot of good ball progressors. Yeah, I think it'll be a bit of a difficult game for us. I think we should sort of control it maybe a bit more because we like controlling games, have more possession, maybe a bit
yeah,
more of shots. I think we'll have a few mistakes here and there, for sure. But I think a 1-0 win. I think a 1-0 win. Though a draw is
yeah.
definitely
Yeah, it's.
possible.
I mean, you can't really discount it, and a Real Madrid win. I don't know. I don't really know about that.
I hope not.
Uh,
I hope not, man.
I don't really
We
know
need we
about
need
that.
this league. We need this league. We're not winning Champions League. We're out of Copa del Rey.
Why do you think you're not winning Champions League?
What do you think? Who the we have very few attacking options, and this team is mentally weak, especially in away games. Like I feel like tactics were like spot on against Napoli, but the defense. These guys were utter garbage, bro. These guys were garbage. Like just
Oh my god.
so that's why the mental issue is just
I mean
there.
that's an
Trying to
away game.
survive.
That's an away game. At the end of the day, you still have a home leg left. You still have a home
But
leg left.
you can't just rely on home games to win the Champions League.
I
Especially
mean,
that's
yeah,
not
I
how it
mean
works.
that's been clear. That's been very evident since for the last 3 to 4 years. I mean, literally all the away legs when Barcelona has been screwing it
Yeah,
up.
yeah, even the ties we win, usually it's the great performance at Cap now, which has gotten us through. And then when the moment we have to play second leg
And
in
away
away
from home,
stadium,
yeah.
a house of cards collapses.
Yes,
I don't
yes, yes.
see a huge improvement this season, but we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see. We'll
yeah.
see.
Alright then. So it's 1-0 for 1-0 from Blaugrana Studio and 1-1 from me. So I'm in the stream right here. Thank you guys for watching. And I hope that we're in for an amazing game ahead of us. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I hope it's
I
not
mean,
boring.
and he'll hope that Barcelona gets the dub. And I mean, my prediction is 1-1, but I hope Real Madrid gets the dub as well because we need this. We need this more than
Well, I
anyone.
mean, we need this,
Uh,
but
I mean, we need it more. We
that
need
is
it more
true. But we
clearly.
don't care about what you need, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, it's an opinion again. It's like if you look from a neutral standpoint, probably you would say Real Madrid needs more. But
I mean,
obviously,
yeah,
for
yeah,
your team, then yes. So yeah, thank you guys for watching.
yeah, yeah. Thanks for
Yeah,
having me. Thanks.
yeah. So thank you guys for watching, and keep subscribe to the channel for more such streams. I'll be streaming on the next Real Madrid game if possible as well, and we'll have
Yeah,
more
I'll be
guests
having a
on. Like,
live watch along on my channel too. So if you want to, same channel name. So if
oh
anyone
yeah,
wants,
go subscribe to Blograna Studio as well. Man makes
yeah, yeah.
amazing content, I
Again,
believe, and yeah. So thank you very much.
yeah. Thanks for
Enjoy the
having me.
game,
Yeah,
and I hope you've enjoyed the stream as well. Thank you very
yeah,
much.
yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.